Today we explore an exciting theme.
Learn how to harness your sexual power for personal transformation.
In one place, the power of your voice with Mike Murphy.
Welcome, everybody. This is the podcast, The Power of Your Voice, and I'm your host, Mike Murphy. I'm super excited about today's guest. So if you're into sex, okay, you want to stay tuned and maybe take out a pen and a piece of paper and take some really good notes. And this is good quality sex that we're going to be talking about here today. I have with me a special man that lives here in Medellin, Colombia, and that's where I am right now. We're coming to you from Medellin, Colombia. His name is Pablo Saldarriaga. And he earlier apologized to me. He said, I apologize for my Spanish or my English. I go, your English is great. My Spanish is what needs to work. So I was able to get that word out. So he was a businessman, a master's in international business. He studied here at a great university in Medellin called IFIT. And he also got a degree at FIU out of Florida. He lived in Miami for 10 years. He had a career in marketing, logistics, and finance. And then something happened that led him to want to change his entire life. And he went to the country of India, and he learned a bunch of stuff, and that's what he's going to share with us today. And Pablo, welcome to the show.
Mike, thank you very much. Thank you for having me. I'm very happy.
It's the first time we've met, and I've studied your story a little bit. Did a little bit of pre-interview, but not much, because I want this to be super fresh, because I think your story is fascinating. So you were born in New York, you said, and you grew up in what age when you moved to Medellin, and in your childhood, what years were you here in Medellin?
Oh, man, it was only when I was two. My parents came back, they were living in New York for so long, but they went back when I was two.
Okay.
So I was raised here.
Okay, so your whole life you grew up in Medellin, basically.
Basically, yes, until the age of 26, when I went back to the States. Actually, went to Miami, which is part of, Latin America.
Right.
Yeah, but that's the truth.
It really is.
But that was perfect because, I have the, part of the both, of both aspects.
For you guys watching and you haven't been to Miami, it really is like being in Colombia or Venezuela or Brazil. I mean, it really is Latin America. It's 80%, I think, speaks Spanish there, maybe. Yeah. So it's very interesting. So you became a successful businessman, and then something happened in your life that said, "Hey, I need to go find myself." I'm assuming, and went to tell us that story.
Well, actually, it's not that something happened eventually. It's more than one day. Yeah, I've been feeling that for my whole life because I was, very connected with what I do today since my childhood. But one day I decided to walk my through and I said, okay, this is not making me happy. So I really want to follow what my heart says. And it's more than selling things and promoting business, which was beautiful and good. And it gave me, a good life. It was more like I really feel inside that I need to work with people directly, with their beings, with their feeling, with their souls, with the, help people to live what I've living by that time. And I switched.
Yeah.
I quit my job.
And I think this is a common theme. It's something I've experienced my entire life because we're programmed to create wealth, especially Americans, probably more so in America than here. But, we're programmed that money is everything. And we measure everybody by their money. Everybody's measured by money, but no one's measured by their integrity, by their character, what they give to others, what they're contributing to society. I think we've lost our soul because of chase of materialism, consumerism, and financialism. So you realize something inside of you, your soul, was saying, hey, man, there's something more for me, more that's going to make me feel more whole, more complete, more on purpose. Is that accurate?
Yes. Well, you said something that we lost our souls, but I don't consider that we lose our souls. I think that we get far from our souls. Yep. But one day, soul is in there always. Soul is God.
I agree. We lose our conscious connection.
Exactly.
And then we're chasing stuff that doesn't serve our soul, and then we get lost.
Yeah, because we get distracted. Because this mechanism, this system is taking you far from yourself.
Yeah.
So the more you connect it, the more you meditate, and basically this is the main topic of this conversation, all these things that makes you like reconnect or see yourself, your real self, and honor it. So the soul is in there. It's just getting connection again with what you real are.
So, well, when you were younger and you were doing business and you were doing that, you felt disconnected from your soul, and something was saying, "Hey, I need to find myself."
Well, to be honest, as I say, I started from very little, from my childhood. My mother had me when I was 4 years old. My sister and I, she had us.
Wait, how old was your mother when she had you?
How old is today?
No, how old was she when she gave birth to you? How old was your mom?
She was like 30, I guess,
Okay,
something like that.
okay.
Yeah, she's currently 79.
Okay,
I'm
okay,
51.
okay.
But yes, she had my sister and I in this meditation course. So we started with the mantra Om, and I still remember that she had us sitting on the sofa,
Wow.
5 minutes every day. And that's where the magic started.
Yes.
So it's coming from my childhood.
Yeah.
Also, the library in my house was, Tantra books, Lobs and Rampa, and all those, things that Jacobo Greenberg, all those magic things that. So I'm used to that. So I never got disconnected from what I am.
Yeah.
But it's more like, the tendency, the system put me, walking another pathway. That I never felt it like my own pathway.
Yeah.
But I say, okay, I appreciate that because, the time that I spent, in that aspect of my life, it's what I encouraged me more of what I'm doing here,
Yeah.
That's what I'm so connected with what I do now. And that's what I'm so eager to help day by day people to, if they want to switch, it's just like more connect with what they are so that they identify what they really are and they follow, they honor what they really are in what they do on a daily basis.
Yeah. So I want to go into what your childhood with your mother. So it sounds to me like your mother was rather spiritually evolved, correct?
Oh, yeah, both of them.
Both of them.
Yeah. It's very interesting because I come from these two families. They're still very conservative, traditional paisas, very religious.
Do they practice Catholicism here?
Yeah.
Okay, but
Yeah.
still but meditation. So your mother's teaching you meditation, which the Catholic Church says to stay away from.
Yeah.
So she's more evolved than just practicing Catholicism.
Yeah, you know what? My father's family, they were very religion. They are very religious. My mother's family too, but they were more like scientific.
Okay.
They're coming from, I have relatives, my uncle, they're mathematics, physics, politics. They're very, into the scientists, like very left hemisphere, you know?
Yeah. So you got both. You got the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere.
Exactly.
And so I'm just going to throw this out there as a question with an assumption as well, that you tried the traditional way, or you tried the world's way of becoming successful, which is through business and creating wealth and this and that. But because of this foundation and this early meditation practices, it didn't resonate with you, and you realized that was maybe fraudulent, and you wanted to go this path. Is that accurate?
Exactly, and that's happening these days.
Yes.
It's still happening because, and I talked to my mother, it's very funny, she's lovely, because when I finished my high school, she said, okay, at home, to my sister and I, at home, I'm going to pay it only for a businessman, lawyer or doctor or something like that. I said, Mommy, I love painting. I'm an artist. And I love my father. He had me also doing exercise. This Charles Atlas, I guess you know who Charles Atlas was.
Yes.
And Bruce Lee doing
strong.
exercise.
Right.
And so I have, both sides. But, and these days, my mother says, what do you do? Still she had me having meditation, but these days she still asks me, does people are interested in what you teach? I say, Mommy, word is awakening.
Yes.
Word is awakening. People are more and more, also in the corporate world, people need this.
Yes.
So they love it. Now they are awakening, and they know that they cannot live their lives and honor their lives is that they don't recognize their souls and their inner feeling, So,
that's interesting, because this has been coming up a lot in my contemplations and my meditations, that what people are waking up to is they need balance. because we get out of balance, and the world is out of balance. The world is so chaotic. And so now, if we're out of balance in our own personal life, it's amplified because the world is so messy, right? So let's talk about meditation today. Is it a practice for you? How do you do it? Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's very interesting what you say. It's out of balance, but that's our balance today.
Yes.
Nothing is perfect in life. And that, dark aspect of humanity these days is what is bringing us today and encouraging us to look more inside our souls. So that's good,
Yeah.
And I do a daily practice. I do so many, people ask me, what do you do for a living? And I say, I work on myself. Oh, you don't have a regular job? And I say, no, I love to working on myself all day long, because all day long I'm meditating,
Yeah.
I'm meditating right now.
Right now. You're connected to source right now.
Through myself.
Yes.
Through observing myself.
Yes.
So now I'm feeling my heart beating. I'm feeling the energy in my body. I'm feeling my emotions.
You're present.
I'm present.
And most of us live our lives being non-present.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the invitation. That's what I do for a living, because, it changes my life. And I said, okay, I have to share this. So, but my day today is very simple. I have a very simple life. I wake up usually at 3 a.m. and I sit down like 1 hour.
What time do you go to bed?
9:30.
Okay. So you're getting about 6 hours sleep.
Yeah.
Good quality sleep.
Well,
I assume.
sometimes I have naps.
Okay.
Sometimes I have to take naps.
Okay. But you're getting good 6 hours of sleep, and you wake up at 3. Is that when you start to meditate, or?
I wake up at 3, average. I meditate for over an hour. And I go back, I pee, and I go back, to my bed.
Right.
And I put my headsets, and
Are you using a guided meditation, or?
No.
Tell me your process. Just focus on your breath.
Yeah, it depends. I follow I follow my feelings. So for some periods of time, I follow my breathing process. Some other periods of time, my intuition guides me to follow my heart beating. I do some teachings that I learn, some meditation that I learn, like Vipassana. I've done Vipassana a few times. It's beautiful. So I switch based on, not on my mind, not on my ego, but on my...
Your spirit. Well, your spirit's telling you,
I
right?
I just follow. I know that, mind interfere, and this is a beautiful process that we have to understand as well.
Yep.
Like, okay, everything I ask myself, is this being guided, this thought, this feeling, is it being guided by my ego or by my soul?
Right.
Every time that I talk to someone, every time that I had to make a decision, every time that I teach someone, is it coming from my soul or from my ego? So I just follow what my being says. So it's different.
For all you people out there watching or listening right now, and they're waiting for me to get to the subject of sex, stay with us because we're going to get there. But this is such an interesting conversation for me, especially the meditation part. And so for the people out there going, dude, there's no way I'm getting up at 3 a.m. to meditate, okay? Tell us the benefits that you get out of your life. And you say you meditate almost every day, so that connection to source. So tell me the benefits of that early morning meditation and then the meditation practice all day long.
Well, as you said, meditation is being present.
Yeah.
When you meditate, like biorhythmic, I don't know if that word is good in Spanish, the biorhythm, the biorhythms of your body, of the whole body, not only
the frequency, the vibration frequency. And the frequency.
Yeah, we don't operate separate than the planet.
Right,
so if
the
planet is awakening, you must awake at that time.
Right.
So 3 to 4. Well, 3, it's something that...
3's a little early. I think 4 is a little...
It's a little early, yeah.
I think 4 is a good number.
But I'm used to that.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Yeah, I'm used to that. Because at 4, I do another meditation. But I've been more connected with myself from 3 to 4.
Okay.
And from 4 to 5, as I say, I go back, to my bed. I put my headset and I follow like... Jacobo Greensberg meditation or Joe Dispensable meditation or some other kind kind of
some sort of guided meditation.
Yeah. And I go, oh man, and this is amazing. It's like having, for real, it's like having this mushroom experience.
Yeah.
Every day I have a mushroom experience, but with my own chemicals.
So you brought up Dr. Joe Dispensable, which I love his meditations. I try to start every day with the body electric guided meditation of his. And the beautiful thing of that is, he talks a lot about raising the cerebral spinal fluid from the perineum, the base of the spine, up to open the third eye, the pineal gland. Have you experienced with any of that kind of meditation?
Yeah, man. Well, this is something now. It's in the world of Joe Dispensable. This is technology.
Oh, no, that's essentially that goes back to the time of Christ and before. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. That goes back to the gurus of India.
Yes.
They've been moving that cerebral spinal fluid forever. Dr. Joe just is bringing it to the West.
Oh man, this is, to me, it's one of the translator of this information. Like as I said, Jacobo Greensberg. These are avatars that come to translate information on our words today.
Tell me about the person you keep mentioning, because I'm not quite getting that.
Jacobo Greensberg. He's a Mexican. He was a
Do
Mexican.
you know how to spell it? Just so
Jacobo J. Oh man,
Okay.
you put me in trouble.
we're gonna find some show notes and we'll put it in the show notes because
Yeah.
I want to study it myself.
Oh, man.
So tell me about it.
Most people should read this. This is a neurological, used to be a neurological doctor. He works with shamanism as well. And, he studied the human being and he created a lot of meditations, but very profound meditations based on all that information from the shamanic world, from the yoga instructions, yoga teachings, tantra. Those used to be connected people that, as I said, translate information and channel information and put in the word that we know how to understand these days. Yeah. But he was, I don't know, there are many theories. I don't know whether he was killed or he just enlightened and disappeared. Many people had happened with many people. But it's a very interesting person to follow his teachings.
And do you ever do any like right brain entrainment meditations using frequency where you get the left and the right working together entrainment? Yes.
Well, it's, as I said, many things have come to me by intuition. So sometimes I'm a searcher. I look for things, and sometimes I say, well, I've been doing this for, since long time. Because everything that we learn these days, it's already in ourselves. Exactly. It's already. So it's just a matter of being open to receive information.
Yeah.
And messages are every single second you're receiving messages. It's just a matter of opening your eyes.
Yeah.
That's it.
One of my favorite quotes in the Bible comes from King Solomon. He says, there's nothing new under the sun. Everything we need to know is already here, and more importantly, it's already within us. And it's just, but the trick is we have these two eyes that are always looking out, okay, where we need to look within and get in touch with the soul and the energy of the Creator, and then all the answers appear. It's
beautiful to understand that, because the more you understand that situation, the more you focus on yourself, and it's no ego, it's no selfishness, it's just like recognizing the creation, the Creator, the God, or however you want to call it, inside you. Yes. And it sounds beautiful, but once you feel it, you said, oh my God, this is what people talk about. I'm feeling it.
Yes.
And it's just an awakening of DMT in your brain.
Yes.
It's in there. The magic is happening in there while you're distracted looking things outside.
Yeah.
But that's the way system works. They have you vibrating in your survival mode here, down here.
Sex, survival,
sex,
food.
In emotions, food. So your energy, it's going down.
Yeah.
And when you ask about sexuality, that's what I teach, basically.
From the heart and the mind.
Yes, like awakening all the power that you have down here.
Yeah.
Don't waste it. Don't lose it. Don't throw it down to earth. Don't ejaculate. Just connect with your power. Bring it out, bring it out, bring it out, bring it to your heart, bring it to your brain, bring it to, because this is earth, as the Bible said, you mentioned the Bible, heaven and earth, this is earth, this is heaven. So when we go to heaven is when we have peace of mind, this is heaven, and this is our soul. So the connection, the middle chakra, the heart chakra, it's our soul. It's the link between the earth and the heaven.
Right.
So now we can be in heaven if we don't waste our energy in sexual matters. I mean, sex and sexuality are different things, but that's the beauty. Once you understand that, okay, I have the power here, but I don't gonna waste it. I'm gonna bring it up here, and connect with the divine. Oh man, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and the problem I see today, especially around the subject of sex, right? No, we're not taught this. No one teaches us anything about sex as a child when we need to learn. Next thing you know, we're in the 4th or 5th grade. We get an erection. We don't know what to do with it. All right. Then it erupts. We feel good. Now we're fucked. Excuse my language. But now we're kind of screwed because no one is there to hold our hand. I really believe in way back centuries ago when we have the indigenous people and the tribes, they taught these kids this stuff. It was a community. It takes a community to raise a child. But imagine a child today who wasn't born to two, evolved parents, okay, parents with their own issues, whether drugs, alcohol, not connected, whatever, and then they stumble into the internet and they find pornography, and no one's taught them nothing. Just imagine the effect on their brain. I know when I was like 3rd grade or someone showed me a Playboy magazine, right? And the effect that had on me. And then sex is a dirty thing that you can't talk about. Talk about all that. How do we undo this? How do we fix this?
Yeah, man. Today I work with young people, with children. Well, not children, but teenagers, and with their parents. Because you remind me, I go back in time, and I remember my father saying, they didn't talk much about sex, my father and my mother, but they have, as I said, these books, and they have them here so that we read. And my father all the time said, don't spit, don't ejaculate. They didn't say much, but it makes, it sounds something in myself. And I said, today it's mandatory. That's what I, try to focus on young people, because young people don't have real information. They are being slaves of ejaculation, of masturbation, of pornography, and they don't know. This is good. I mean, you're tempted because of you're tempted by the body pleasure, and that's good. You are growing.
Yes.
But if you don't have real information,
understanding,
that guides you. That's what I focus on. This I could say community, young people and their parents and their teachers in schools. If you don't have real information, you're gonna keep on, suiciding yourself without by the pleasure of ejaculation or something like that. But this is information that had, the ancestral cultures you mentioned, the people from India, from ancient civilizations, Egypt. All these people knew about this.
Right.
But now, they throw you pornography. On one side, they throw you pornography, so you drain yourself, you drain your
energy,
energy. And on the other hand, they prohibit because it's bad. Sex, it's through the religion, it's bad. So you have the both polarities, they fighting. So you are right in between, and you don't know what to do, man.
It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare.
You get crazy.
I really think, and let me say this as a confession, okay? My parents didn't teach me nothing about sex, okay? But I didn't do a good job teaching my 4 children either, okay? And so why is that? Because I was so screwed up with my thought process, my belief system, okay, of what sex really what I thought it was and what it didn't have a clue what it really is and what it should be. Okay, so I didn't do a good job of teaching my children. So now I'm thinking, and I see the world more screwed up now than it was when I was raising my kids, right? So, and I see all this stuff on the internet and what have you. So how do we fix this? I really, because we're not going to go back to indigenous, maybe we are, but indigenous tribes where communities raising child. But maybe we can create videos or something to teach a child. Listen, this is all normal and natural what your body's going through. Because I grew up in a Catholic school, all right, and they scare the hell out of you. Your palms are going to get hairy if you masturbate, right? All this nonsense, right? How do we get good education, and how do we deliver it to these precious children that really need it, so that we can look at the divorce rates? Everything is messed up because no one ever teaches us the right way to be in relationship, to be present, how to love, how to make love, all that kind of stuff. How do we fix this?
Well,
What are you doing? Let's do it. Let's start this. What are you doing to fix it in your community?
Yeah, basically it's, as I said, being more coherent with what I am, with what I feel myself. That's what I, switch my life from one thing to another, because I got connected. And the more you get connected with yourself, you're gonna be able to touch more people, right? So being coherent with what I am, with what I really feel, it's the way that I really can teach people. So I read a lot. I love reading. Reading these topics. I don't read.
Right.
I
The
read
tabloids.
yeah, I read
Deep
this.
subjects.
Yeah, I read this. I read books like yours.
Yeah.
That actually I saw it, and I want to have one copy of your book.
It's yours. You can
Yeah,
have it.
and the more I get connected with people, the more I get in touch with people, because I try to connect from the heart, not from
Yes,
the ego.
yes, yes.
So I connect with you, and I kind of read you, and I know what are your, like, compassion. It's a beautiful word, but has to be very good understood, because we confuse it. It's like I put, as I said in Spanish, I don't know if in English it's the same. I put in your shoes.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
same thing. Okay, I put in your shoes, and I kind of feel your feelings, and I said, okay, this is my serve. It's being compassion.
Yes.
And lovely, and try to give the more myself I can give.
Right.
Because I've been through that.
Yeah.
I've been in that side. I've been in this side, and it's not that I'm in this side permanently. But as a human, I go back and forth.
Yes.
Sometimes I waken. I mean, what I'm telling you is that I'm not a human being.
Right.
I'm a regular human being with my problems, with my issue, with my man situation,
Right.
I struggle with life sometimes.
Right.
But now I vibrate in a higher frequency, because I practice these medicines, these I connect with the channel,
Yes.
straight to the channel. And
You're ascending rather than descending. And when we're ascending, it's not perfect. There's still mistakes. There's still hiccups. There's still the old programming that wants to rear its ugly head. There's still the shadow side of being a human being. So as we're ascending, it's just not all rainbows and sunshine, right? And the faster we're ascending, and the more desire we have to ascend, the more the other side attacks us. It's good and evil, right? And so there's dark and light. And so while we're trying to create more light we got to fight more dark. And so that's what you guys have to understand out there. Neither one of us are better than you. We're just on this path of realizing of who we really are. And now that we know who we really are, what do we do to amplify that? What do we do to get closer to God instead of farther from God? That's all. Being human is not easy. This life is not easy. This is difficult. But when you learn the truth, and when you move from the head to the heart, and you start living from this beautiful heart, then he didn't have a choice. He woke up, and he had to either go to India and find himself and get on this path, or probably suffer some, who knows, drug addiction, alcohol, who knows? Or just, as Thoreau said, most men lead lives of quiet desperation. And maybe perhaps he was leading his life of quiet desperation. Wait, I want out of this. I want to find myself. And when you start finding yourself, you find God. And when you connect with God, you can reconnect to your soul, and you get reconnected, then miracles start to happen. And you talk a lot about the ego. And so I think, we're living in two worlds. We live in the material world, and we live in the non-material world, the unseen and the seen, right? And the ego we kind of need here, okay, to build a career. If you need money, you need to create a resume. So you need to list your accomplishments, and you need to send. So you got to play that game a little bit, but you can't get attached to it. You can't let it suck you in. You got to stay close to this heart. So what does that mean? If my heart is to love and to serve and to give to others, well, then I can't go get in a business where I'm going to hurt people. I can't work for a corporation that's selling products or goods that are hurting people, right? I have to be true to myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, man. I mean, you cannot go. You have to embrace everything, because you have to honor the way that the fact that you are here in 3D, in this three-dimensional world.
Right.
I mean, you have to you have to have food.
We got to play this game.
You have to have sex. You have to love. You have to feel pain. You have to embrace everything.
Right.
And this is the Taoism. I mean, you have the black and you have the white. You have women. You have men. You have pleasure. You have pain. You have everything. Light, dark, everything. So that's what makes you human, right?
Duality.
So everything is perfect, but you have to be aware that your reality, it's here. We are souls, and we are living this material experience, and this is beautiful. It's beautiful. People ask me, oh, you're so spiritual. And I say, okay, what is the spirituality? And to me, spirituality, it's just the fact that you embrace everything and you connect with everything, with the situations, with the pain, with the love, with everything. It's not that you get attached and the bad things, but you have to understand that you have to face different stage of your life with different emotions, different sensations, different situation day to day, and our free will, it's the only thing that we got. As you said at the beginning, you decide whether to go this way or this way. How do I face situations in my life? Mm-hmm. Do I face it? Do I give up? Or I encourage myself and keep on fighting? Well, fighting wouldn't be the word. Like keep on, embracing situation and getting better and better and better. And this is our decision.
Yeah.
But if you are connected with yourself, the more conscious you develop in yourself, the more life it's going to shine on you, and the more you're going to vibrate in love, because this is actually the goal, like vibrate in love, in love, in love. I struggle in situation, my day-to-day life, like I feel anger, I feel jealous, I feel like everything that every human being feel. Yep. But it's not that I want to avoid to feel that. Right. I want to embrace that, recognize that, and change it, and get power, get energy from that to make myself a better person and share, and spread, good things.
So one of my favorite sayings comes from the Bible as well. And the St. Paul said, "Be angry, but sin not." It's natural to feel anger. And I get angry. I look at the world, I get angry. Some of the things I do, I get angry at myself, but I don't sin and I let it go. Okay? Mm-hmm. Well, I come out of the 12-step programs of, AA and that kind of stuff, right? And it's all about making amends. We're going to make mistakes, but as soon as I make a mistake, I immediately make amends. If I harm you, I'm going to be on the phone right away. Hey, I'm sorry, man. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. I want to make amends. So that's super important. All right, so let's talk about this Tantra sex, okay? I don't know what your expertise is or anything.
That's the topic.
Okay, well, that's not what we're going to tease and hopefully get more viewers. But and I've studied this subject, right? Obviously, I've had sex, and I with no education, probably started too young, didn't understand the power of it, didn't understand the harm it could cause to my partner and to me if it's not done properly, right? Because no one ever taught me, right? And we have natural, testosterone when you're young. You have a lot of testosterone, so you want to, mate, right? But when it comes to Tantra sex, my understanding, I've read books, I've studied it, maybe played around with it a little bit, but you talk about the elimination of male ejaculation, right? Mm-hmm. Which is part of that, right? Is to create that. You can still have an orgasm without the ejaculation if you're a male. But it seems to me like the female orgasm should not be withheld. That is more of a gift that feeds both people. Tell me.
Yeah, well, going back to the main word, Tantra, it's not that I'm a tantric. I do Tantra. Tantra, it's a tool to me. And I feel very honored to have received this information. But I do, these practices, as I do Taoism practices, sexual Taoism.
Is there a difference between Taoism and Tantra?
Well, there are two different currents, but everything works in one thing. They all work in your body. Yeah. They all work in your mind, in your soul. So
it's electrical energy, correct?
Electrical and magnetic and electrical energy.
Electromagnetism.
Female and male, because we both
positive, negative.
Yeah, we both female and male energy. The two polarities is like the yin yang, and the key of this, it's like to balance both of them within us, like the two aspects, like you mentioned before, the right brain, the left brain, the sympathetic system, the parasympathetic system, everything is balanced in life. So the beauty of this is that you can get in the center. The Tao, the symbolism, the Tao.
Yes.
It's like being in the middle lane.
Yes.
Right? So that's balance. And when I talk about ejaculation, it's not like a aleatoria thing. It's a very important thing that people must understand, that it's, as I said before, it's like if you have your power, your base power, the most important power of your life is the power of creation, and it comes from your energy, sexual energy. So why would you, like waste it?
Right.
Get pregnant yourself with your power and use that energy, for your purposes in life, for your dreams, for your goals, for being a better person.
Yes.
So, like bringing to the simple Western understanding of Tantra, because this is a philosophical thoughts that come from 1,000 years and before, because also people mention the tantric aspects in Egypt, in all the civilizations before. But talking about the Tantra in the Western world, it's like connect with that power, and balance this power within you, so you can, empower yourself and get to know yourself deeper and use it for your real purposes in life, not the purposes of the ego, but the purpose, because it's very important to recognize the difference, but the purposes of your soul, right? Service is one of the purposes. Actually, people say, and it's true, the happiness in life, it's when you serve. That's the real fulfillment, and that's the reality of ourselves, like, serve to others. So through Tantra, you empower yourself. Through Tantra, through these simple practices, which are not simple, but are practices you have to, get used on your body, train your energetic body, train your emotional body, your mind body, all of them. Understanding the pathway of the chakras, the energy center. And as you said before, it's like moving sexual energy within and directed to different parts of your body, directed to your mind, directed to your dreams, to your intentions. This is the creational power. This is the creative power. Me as an artist, I paint and I draw and I write as well. I get inspired when I do exercises, because I awake my sexual energy, and instead of wasting it, I
use it to create.
I use it to create. And there are processes. You follow process. You follow specific meditations. You follow like visualizations. You follow different techniques that come from Tantra, that come from the Taoism, that come from my, I study sexological body work, which is the work on the sexuality, how you somatize in your body, in your sexual life, all the situations that you have been through your life, like struggle with rapes, things like violent things like that. How do you get rid of?
How do you process all that?
How you get rid of that information that it's in your body through these techniques.
Let me tell you what I was thinking and visualizing while you were speaking. So, I started probably having sex at 15, not having a clue not a clue, right? It was all about, it was an ego thing, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm going to go, all the kids are talking about too. Oh, you're a virgin, kids lie about it. I'm not a virgin, and all this BS, frankly, because we're never taught as children how sacred this thing is, how powerful. I grew up in the era, I'm 66. I grew up in drugs, sex, and rock and roll, okay? I mean, it was free love, free sex, free everything, right? With no meaning. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I had my first child when I just turned 23. So she was conceived when I was 22. I didn't have a clue about life at age 22, not a clue. And all of a sudden, here's this little child and I'm thinking, well, what if someone, I just wanted to get laid that night, okay? And now I have a kid. We never talked about having kids. We never talked about starting a family. We never did anything mature like that. But just think if someone had taught us, and let's just say, hey, tonight would be a beautiful night to go out and conceive a child. Why don't we go outside and buy them? It's a full moon, okay? And let's look in each other's eyes, okay? And let's make love staring with the intent of bringing a beautiful soul into this amazing place that we get to call home for a short period of time. And if we do this consciously, it's got to be better for the couple. That marriage ended in divorce. It's got to be better for the couple. It's definitely got to be better for the children energetically. And that's everything here is all energy. So what are your thoughts on that? I mean, I feel bad that, that now I know it, I didn't, but I want to fix it. I want to fix it for my grandkids. And, where do we go from here?
Well, I don't think there's nothing to fix, man. That's your pathway. That was your story, and it's beautiful. And as I say, you have to embrace it as it is. But the magic of life is that life is a trial and error process. It's not something that we come with instructions. It's not a book that we read and everything happens just like a very simple. No.
Okay, but I hear you. But the birds, they know to fly south. In the wintertime, the whales need to go. No, they go from Alaska to Hawaii and give birth, and then they got to get back in a hurry before they starve to death. How do they know that? And we're we're an animal. We're an animal. But what happened to our instincts? What happened? Why are humans so confused?
Okay, there's a big difference between an animal and a human being. Man, they're guided by instinct.
And so, but we are animals.
Okay, that's what as I said before, that's why we're losing our energy.
Yes.
But we have something different. We have a soul. I don't know whether an animal, this is another discussion, has a soul or not. That's something that I don't know.
Right.
But we're guided also by our intelligence, right?
But the intelligence comes from where? Because whoever's teaching us, if they have an agenda that serves them and doesn't serve us, then that's bad programming, that's bad teaching, that's bad education. And I think a lot of that takes place, that we teach kids lies, okay? And then they have to unravel the programming when they realize the truth.
Okay, I ask you something. What do you think it's people coming these days going out to the nature and getting rid of these systems? Because they are understanding.
Yes.
This is,
yes.
The civilization. Civilization is like when you train a dog. You train a dog to receive the bone. You train a dog to give you the hand. It's like a training.
Yeah.
You are trained.
Yes.
And it's called civil. You're civilized. Man, you are trained
domesticated.
I'm
domesticated like a dog. Yeah.
Exactly.
But until I'm not, because I am no longer domesticated. Okay. Those shackles have been relieved from me, and now I'm seeing the truth everywhere, and it's kind of ugly. Right?
Man, it's not ugly. That's why you're writing these beautiful books, man. That's why you're doing this with me and with fantastic people, and raising voices, because people are awakening.
But I also see a lot of suffering and a lot of unnecessary suffering. That's what drives me crazy, frankly.
Okay, this is something that goes beyond my understanding.
Okay.
I try to understand
yes.
that life, it's darkness and light.
Right.
And I couldn't be able to answer the question that I asked myself, what are people suffering out there?
Yeah.
I mean, it's their karma. You have to go to India and understand what is compassion. They have their own karma. You have not to, you shouldn't cut their karma, because we come over and over and over to get better person. This is a school, the physical body, the three-dimensional world, it's a school.
I got to ask you this, though. So when I'm in Varanasi, India, which is, they say, the oldest city in the world. And I'm walked down the Ghats to the Ganges, right? And there's all the beggars, and the children with the no eyes and the no food and even lepers. I mean, the worst poverty I've ever seen in my entire life, okay? I find it difficult to believe that's their karma from a previous life. I believe that they're experiencing that because we as humanity have lost our soul. We've lost that that community of indigenous people that, would live in peace and live off the land, and we're in harmony of nature, understood energy, vibration, frequency. See, I think we've lost that, and some virus has taken over humanity, which is all about materialism, consumerism, control, power, masculine energy, if you will. I really think what's happening right now is we're going from a masculine energy, which is domination, control, power, to a feminine energy, which is openness, love, nurturing, and that kind of thing. And so what I believe is right now, as that's collapsing, and the people that control that don't want to lose that power, are fighting like crazy to maintain it, but they can't stop what's coming. And I think this is a pattern that's happened many times before, and it just happens to be happening right during our lifetime. And so it in some ways it appears very crazy, but I think at the end of the day, there will be a lot of pain and suffering, unnecessary, but it has to happen to get to maybe where we can usher heaven back on the earth. At least that's my hope. I think that's your hope.
Yeah, of course, man, of course. But sometimes we get confused with the interpretation of things, and that comes from our mind.
Yes.
Our programming mind. If you talk to these people, it's not general, but if you talk to, when I lived in Asia, I had the opportunity to talk to people. I try to touch these people and get connected with them because, that's another, it's not a Western life of abundance and well-being. You see people dying, you see people without food, but as I said before, within themselves, they're living in their spirit. So whatever happened in their body, they're not concerned about that. They accept it. And that's spirituality. And one day I understood that they're living in their spirit. They're not living in their bodies. So they overcome that thing, that situation, and they don't. I think they don't give they don't care that much.
Right.
Because they understand that this is just a 3D, a matrix. But they're connected with their souls, and they just accept it.
Yeah.
So they live in their heavens, and we consider they're living in their hells, in their bodies, but for them it's different.
Perhaps we really don't know. The truth is we really don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know. It's just what I perceive, and based on what I talk to people, that's what I could, collect that information and say, okay, it's our ego that says, because they say, okay, there's no good and bad, there's no good and evil, it's just creation, there's no time. Yeah. This matrix brings a lot of information that we don't understand.
Yeah.
But we need to, again, go back to the inside through meditation and say, okay, whatever is my brain thinking and considering and interpreting probably is not the truth.
Yeah.
We're living in a matrix.
Yes.
It's called the Maya. It's called the Maya.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in one regard, things are falling apart. The old systems, the old ways are falling apart, which is good. And we're suffering some birth pains as we create a new system based on community, integrity, responsibility, love, and service. So it's all good.
Well, I wouldn't. I mean, people would say, okay, yeah, this guy is sitting in a comfortable couch. He had breakfast already. He dressed with clean, clothing. So of course, for him, he's gonna feel good, of course. Right. But I try to look beyond that consideration. It's more like, okay, if I see inside myself, okay, I'm serving. That makes me happy. Yeah. Whether I have or not, whatever I have, I can share. My purpose these days, it's it's like connecting with my tools, the tools that I have, and try to spread them. What I receive, and they serve on me. I try to spread them with more people. That's what I'm working, on purposes like the creation of this center of wellness. That's the way I can, serve here in this 3D in these days. Pablo Saldarriaga, that's my mission. That's my legacy.
And while you were just talking, again, I got a vision, or I got a feeling, or I got a to-do, really, and that is to go revisit the Sermon on the Mount that Jesus gave, because I think that explains it all. The meek shall inherit the earth, and so we got everything backwards. Our judgment has everything backwards, and when we need the real truth and realize that in some sort of way, everything is perfect. Okay, it's our judgment that creates the imperfectness. But my heart still goes out to kids that are suffering, people that are not told the truth. So I think we can do better as humanity. We can help more people. We can serve and love and contribute more. Hey, listen, first of all, I want to thank you for coming here today and sharing your time with us. It's very touched my heart. You're a beautiful soul. If anybody wants to reach out to you, work with you, is there anything you want to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, Instagram under the name of Pablo, Pablo. Well, my last name, man.
We're going to put it. We'll put it on the screen.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So if anybody wants to follow you on Instagram, we'll put it on the screen and they can follow.
Pablo _Saldarriaga_. But I'm going to spell it.
Yes,
you're going to write it down.
For you guys watching, you want to learn more about Pablo, go to his IG page. We'll lead you there. And I went way over on this interview primarily because I found it so fascinating. Different countries, different cultures. Actually, we were both born in America, but he grew up in Colombia. Just two different experiences of life, but so both of us heart-based to serve and to contribute and to make the world a better place. So I really enjoyed this time with you. We'll figure out how to make it all fit into the show, which I'm sure we can do. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed getting to meet Pablo. I hope you enjoyed our conversation. If you did, hit that little up sign on the thing. Share, subscribe, do all that stuff, because we have a big team here. We have an enormous amount of time and energy we put into doing this every week for one purpose, is to give you content that will make your life better and help humanity to go through whatever we're going through right now and to usher heaven back onto earth. So coming up next will be the Mountains of Hope segment, and we'll see you then. Wow, I really loved and enjoyed that conversation with Pablo. I hope you did as much as I did. I apologize for you sex people out there that we didn't get into sex as much as I had hoped, but we can always have him back just for you. So we got a very short segment here for as far as Mountains of Hope, so I'm not even going to bring anybody down from Mountains of Hope for this segment. I'm going to do that part myself, just going to be a couple minutes. And then I will close this show in the typical way with the Power of Your Voice with Mike Murphy, my little feedback on today's show. So let's talk about Mountains of Hope real quick. Man, it is turning out amazing. It is 10 times better than I ever dreamt it was going to be. And I really want to encourage you to check it out. Well, the website is pretty much brand new and improved, I should say. It's still a work in process. Our first retreat's not till June 30th. Excuse me, not until September 30th. But all the 5-star remodeling will be done shortly by the end of June, and all the pool and all that kind of stuff. We still got to build the spa and the wellness center. The reason I'm bringing it up is everybody that hears about this retreat, and we've made it, you can either come for 1 week or we encourage you to come for 2, so we discount the second week. The first week is a physical detox where we get all the toxicity, not all, but a lot of the toxicity out of your body, but we teach you how to really continue to detox your body so you can have extreme, powerful energy and health. And the second week is when we get into mushrooms, plant medicine, meditation, consciousness, subjects. We get into energy medicine, the unseen world, if you will. But everybody that hears about it says, Mike, can I give you a deposit? I want to come. And we're saying, no, we're not going to start selling this probably till the end of June. So what I'm trying to say to you guys, that if you have a need, especially if you have a need, like an early diagnosis with cancer, diabetes, obesity, depression, or you know somebody that has a big need and wants to learn how they can go about to strengthen their immune system and go within and find themselves and reacquaint themselves with their soul and learn to heal themselves, which is really the deepest, truest healing, not to knock medicine or doctors or anything like that, but it is called a practice for a reason, okay? So, and I'm not saying it's good or bad. It is what it is, and you can do your own research on that. But in Mountains of Hope, we want people to really understand how powerful they are, what a powerful creator they are, and how with the right education, the right information, the right protocols, that they can learn to at least physically detox their body and get the stuff that's hurting them out while we put good stuff in that's going to strengthen their immune system, and they can get on the path to healing. So I just encourage you, check out mountainsofhope.com. And if you're interested in attending one of our retreats starting at the end of September, at least get on the waiting list, because whoever gives us their name and says, hey, I'm interested in coming, those are the people we're going to reach out to first and say, hey, you raised your hand first, we're contacting you first. Do you want to come? These are the dates. What do you want to do? At least you'll be in the mix. And if you really need this, we don't want you to miss out. And of course, there's a charitable contribution aspect to it as well. We give a scholarship to someone below the poverty line for every retreat we do. So it's a beautiful place, the most beautiful place I've ever been. But more importantly, the experience that you're going to have there is going to be very profound. Okay, so that's it for Mountains of Hope for this week. So now let's go to the closing of the show, The Power of Your Voice, with your host here, Mike Murphy. You know, in talking to Pablo, he brought up something that a lot of people that I deal with and are friends with and interact with. This thing like, you know, when I wanted to breach a subject, you know, there's too much suffering in the world or something like that, right? And I'm not judging this at all. I have no judgment whatsoever, and I respect it. I love it, and it's a part of me as well. But I find a lot of people in this spiritual work world, you know, they want to say, hey, listen, man, it's all about love. It's all about going into your heart. It's all about, you know, let's turn a blind eye to the ugliness and to the suffering, you know, because, you know, that's their karma. That's their fate. They chose that. Well, maybe not. I have a different take on it. I'll tell you why. You know, for 4 or 5 years, I ran a nonprofit foundation in Oakland, California, where we were working with women below the poverty line while they're battling cancer. I'm going to tell you about one woman I met, and I met hundreds, and the stories are horrendous. But I'm going to share one story that has always stuck with me. And this young woman, I don't think ever should have passed away at a very young age, but she did. And here's her story, and I'm not going to tell her name out of respect for her. But I fell in love with this woman, you know, and I was introduced to these women through social workers, and they had no money and diagnosed with breast cancer and were in desperate need of money, and that's what our foundation did. We gave financial grants so they could continue to live because they had enough suffering going on. But this young woman in particularly, I got to know pretty well. Her story was this. From age 8 to age 14, her mother sold her for sex so that her mother could buy crack cocaine. That's how addicted her mother was. So is it any surprise that this woman got breast cancer after going through all this abuse? And so my question is to people say, hey, listen, you know, is there karma? Or, you know, we just need to focus on the love. We just need to focus on ourselves. Who's supposed to take care of that person? Who's supposed to do something about that suffering? You know, I'm sitting here right here in the city of 4 million people in Medellin, Colombia. How many people here in this city went to bed hungry last night that didn't need to? And it wasn't by their own choice. It's because they couldn't find a job. There isn't a job. Or the cost of living has gotten so expensive because of the pandemic and all this other nonsense. And this is a lot different country here than America where the government gives people money, which I don't know why, but they do. But here they don't. And so probably a million people went to bed hungry. Children went to bed hungry last night. And I just can't say, hey, listen, man, everything's good in my life. And because here's what I believe. There's an old saying. I don't know where it even comes from. But if a butterfly flaps its wings in Peru, I'm going to feel it in Los Angeles. So what's the interpretation of that to me? The interpretation is that we are all connected to one another. There is only one source of energy. The Bible calls it ether. Nikola Tesla called it plasma. The Chinese call it chi. The Indians call it prana. But it's right here. I'm breathing it right now. Okay, we know it's oxygen, but there's a lot more to this field of infinite possibilities right here. These are atoms and particles that can become anything once they're focused upon. Once you use the power of your mind and your desire, you can take these atoms and you can manifest something into your physical world. That's how it all works. But if we're all connected, think about it. If someone is suffering in the world, at some level, I'm suffering as well. Of course, I have my own individual consciousness, which I have some control over, right? But there's the collective consciousness, you know, and that was really noticeable after 9/11. You know, they saw the emotional feeling in the world just go way, way down. You know, they measure these things. They measure that energy, that emotional energy, and because we're all connected. So that's why some days you wake up feeling sad because there's so much collective negativity out there in the world. You know, the author Eckhart Tolle in his book, The Power of Now, he calls about the the pain body, how we have a pain body, right? And he's referring mostly to the psychological pain body or the emotional pain body. Of course, we have a physical pain body as I'm experiencing as I get older. But he also said there's the collective pain body, and that's what he was referring to. And so we need to realize that we're all connected. And then just because they're a stranger, they're still part of the family of humanity. Okay, we have the greater family here of humanity. Of course, I have my children, and I have my parents and my siblings and the extended family and all that, and then friends. But there's one family called humanity. And I say this a lot, and I'm going to say it one more time. There's 7 billion of us in the world today. And if 3.5 billion of us would just lift up someone, just an random act of kindness, of loving kindness, and just lift somebody up, just with a smile, or walk them across the street, or spend an hour playing checkers with an old man and an old person. So whatever it is, I don't care. But just get out of yourself and give. And you will bless that person. You will bless the collective consciousness. You will bless the world. And like one added bonus, you will be blessed beyond your wildest imagination. It's a rule. It's one of the unseen rules, the law of reciprocity. You cannot outgive God. And the more you give, the more you get and receive. Now, I'm not saying to give to get. I'm saying give with a pure, open heart out of love, unconditional love, and you will get. That's just the way it works. So I hope you enjoyed the show today. We really appreciate you tuning in, checking us out. If you like us, give us a thumbs up, share it with your buddies. And keep tuning in. The show is doing extremely well. We're just here to love and to serve and to help, and that's our mission. That's our focus. And we're glad you're here. And so until next week, go out there, live your life with passion, and create the life of your dreams.
Thank you for listening to The Power of Your Voice with Mike Murphy. This podcast is brought to you by Mike Murphy Unfiltered, The Creation Frequency, Mountains of Hope, and the Love from Margot Foundation. These sponsors are dedicated to helping you unleash your full potential and live a life of joy and abundance. If you enjoyed this episode, please visit our website at mikemurphyunfiltered.com and subscribe to our podcast.